Private. Private was the entry-level rank for all British Army soldiers in World War II. Fresh recruits started here immediately after completing basic training. Their primary role was learning discipline, following orders, and mastering the fundamental tasks that kept military operations functioning. Privates handled camp setup, supply transportation, weapon maintenance, and general support duties under direct supervision. They operated in small teams, guided by corporals or sergeants. Some units used different titles like gunner for artillery troops or sapper for combat engineers. Despite having no command authority, privates formed the foundation of every military unit. Lance Corporal. Lance Corporal marked the initial promotion above private in the British Army during World War II. Soldiers received this advancement after demonstrating consistent reliability, strong discipline, and effective teamwork. They served as support to full corporals and typically supervised 2 to 3 privates, guiding their development and maintaining organization. The rank was identified by a single chevron worn on the uniform sleeve. Lance corporals issued basic directives, verified task completion, and maintained clear communication between enlisted soldiers and their superiors. While still developing their leadership abilities, they were entrusted with minor responsibilities that built the foundation for advancing to higher, non-commissioned ranks. Corporal. Corporal was a junior leadership position responsible for overseeing small groups of soldiers, typically organized as a section. Advancement to this rank generally occurred after approximately 4 years of consistent service and reliable performance. Corporals ensured daily operations were executed correctly, including equipment maintenance, schedule adherence, and discipline enforcement during training or assigned duties. They instructed younger soldiers in teamwork, respect, and accountability. Effective corporals led through example, building trust with calm and fair command. The rank was displayed by 2 downward-pointing chevrons on the sleeve, representing the first genuine step into military leadership. Sergeant. Sergeant was a critical leadership rank in the British Army, tasked with managing a section or platoon of soldiers. Advancement to this position typically occurred after 6 to 8 years of consistent service and demonstrated leadership ability. Sergeants organized daily operations, oversaw training sessions, and ensured every soldier executed instructions precisely. They supported junior officers by maintaining discipline and sustaining morale throughout the ranks. Many soldiers viewed their sergeant as both guide and mentor, who balanced strictness with fairness. The rank was displayed by 3 downward-pointing chevrons on the sleeve, symbolizing experience and authority gained through dedicated service. Staff Sergeant. Staff Sergeant, also called Color Sergeant in infantry regiments, was a senior non-commissioned officer tasked with helping oversee an entire company. Advancement typically occurred after approximately 12 years of committed and dependable service. They supported officers with training coordination, administrative work, and soldier welfare, ensuring smooth company operations. Their responsibilities blended leadership with organizational management, often mentoring younger sergeants and corporals. Soldiers relied on them for guidance and steadiness. The rank was displayed by 3 downward chevrons topped with a crown, representing authority, trust, and extended service. Warrant Officer Class 2. Warrant Officer Class 2 was a senior leadership position that maintained discipline, organization, and training throughout a company or regiment. Advancement typically occurred after approximately 15 years of dependable service and proven leadership capability. Those serving as company or squadron sergeant majors supervised daily operations and worked directly alongside officers. Regimental quartermaster sergeants controlled stores, equipment, and supply distribution. Both positions commanded significant respect and trust within their units. The rank was displayed by either a single crown for sergeant majors or a crown enclosed in a wreath for quartermaster sergeants, symbolizing authority and extended service. Warrant Officer Class 1. Warrant Officer Class 1 was the highest non-commissioned rank in the British Army. Advancement typically occurred after approximately 20 years of exceptional service and leadership. Regimental sergeant majors maintained discipline, training, and standards throughout entire regiments. The Army Sergeant Major provided counsel to senior officers at the national level, representing the highest voice among enlisted personnel. They were respected figures recognized for fairness, experience, and maintaining order. The rank was displayed by the Royal Coat of Arms, symbolizing service to both regiment and nation, and representing complete authority among all non-commissioned ranks. Second Lieutenant. Second Lieutenant was the entry-level commissioned officer rank in the British Army during World War II. Advancement to this level typically occurred after completing officer training or receiving a commission through demonstrated service and leadership potential. Second, lieutenants commanded small units of approximately 30 soldiers called platoons and were responsible for organizing routines, directing training, and maintaining clear communication. They collaborated closely with experienced, non-commissioned officers who assisted them in learning practical leadership skills. This represented the beginning of an officer's career. The rank was displayed by a single small star known as a pip worn on the shoulder. Lieutenant. Lieutenant was the advancement above second lieutenant in the British Army. Promotion typically occurred after approximately 2 years of service, once an officer had demonstrated sound judgment and confidence in leading soldiers. Lieutenants often commanded platoons or supported company commanders with planning, training, and welfare responsibilities. They were expected to lead with composure, make solid decisions, and serve as role models for younger soldiers. This rank required balancing discipline with compassion, helping both officers and enlisted personnel function together effectively. The rank was displayed by 2 small stars, or pips, on the shoulder straps. Captain. Captain was a mid-level officer responsible for commanding a company of approximately 100 to 150 soldiers. Promotion typically occurred after about 4 to 6 years of commissioned service, once an officer had demonstrated steady leadership and organizational capability. Captains supervised training, discipline, and planning, ensuring their company operated efficiently and safely. They also mentored younger officers and served as a connection between soldiers and senior command. Captains were respected for composed decision-making and practical leadership under pressure. The rank was displayed by 3 small stars, or pips, worn on the shoulder straps. Major was a senior officer who helped lead and coordinate larger military units, often serving as second in command of a battalion or leading a smaller independent unit. Promotion to this rank typically occurred after approximately 8 to 10 years of commissioned service. Majors concentrated on planning, coordination, and maintaining effective communication between officers and soldiers. They advised commanding officers, supervised company commanders, and ensured operations remained well organized. Their work demanded maturity, discipline, and solid leadership. The rank was displayed by a single crown worn on the shoulder, symbolizing authority and trusted command. Lieutenant Colonel. Lieutenant Colonel commanded a battalion of approximately 500 to 800 soldiers, making it one of the most significant leadership positions in the British Army. Promotion typically occurred after around 12 to 15 years of commissioned service. They held responsibility for every aspect of their unit's performance, training, welfare, and operational readiness. Lieutenant colonels worked closely with senior non-commissioned officers to maintain order and efficiency across all companies. They also coordinated with higher command for operations and strategic planning. The rank was displayed by a crown positioned above 1 pip on the shoulder, representing authority and experience in command. Colonel was a senior field officer responsible for supervising multiple battalions or serving in crucial administrative and planning positions. Promotion to this rank typically occurred after approximately 16 to 18 years of commissioned service. Colonels provided leadership direction and strategic planning for entire regiments or specialized departments. They managed officers under their command, ensured effective coordination between units, and represented their regiment at higher command levels. The position demanded deep experience and solid judgment. The rank was displayed by a crown positioned above 2 pips on the shoulder, symbolizing broad authority and responsibility. Brigadier commanded a brigade, a formation typically composed of 3 or more battalions. Promotion to this rank generally occurred after approximately 20 years of commissioned service. Brigadiers were responsible for organizing large-scale operations, managing thousands of soldiers, and coordinating between battalions and higher headquarters. They balanced strategy with discipline, ensuring every component of their command functioned together efficiently. The role demanded confidence, experience, and excellent communication skills. The rank was displayed by a crown positioned above 3 pips on the shoulder, marking the highest field officer rank before entering general officer grades. Major General. Major General was a senior officer commanding a division, typically composed of approximately 10,000 to 15,000 soldiers. Promotion generally occurred after about 25 years of commissioned service. Major generals were responsible for strategic planning, large-scale coordination, and ensuring every brigade under their command was fully prepared and supplied. They made crucial decisions regarding movement, defense, and logistics, relying on both experience and clear judgment. Their role combined leadership with strategic vision. The rank was displayed by crossed sword and baton beneath a single pip on the shoulder, symbolizing high command authority. Lieutenant General. Lieutenant General was a very senior officer who commanded a corps, a large military formation composed of multiple divisions. Promotion to this rank typically occurred after approximately 30 years of commissioned service. Lieutenant generals were responsible for directing wide-scale operations, establishing strategy, and advising top military leadership. They coordinated closely with other branches of the armed forces to develop national defense plans. Their position required experience, precision, and composed leadership under significant responsibility. The rank was displayed by crossed sword and baton beneath a crown, representing authority at one of the highest command levels. General. General was one of the highest ranks in the British Army, responsible for commanding an entire army or holding top-level staff and planning positions. Promotion typically occurred after approximately 35 years of distinguished service and proven leadership at every level. Generals directed large military operations, advised the government on defense matters, and managed overall strategy and organization. Their work focused on planning and coordination rather than field command. They were recognized for judgment, integrity, and national service. The rank was displayed by crossed sword and baton beneath a crown and one pip, symbolizing supreme command authority. Field Marshal. Field Marshal was the highest rank in the British Army, awarded only for exceptional service or wartime command of very large forces. It was not achieved through standard promotion, but granted as recognition of extraordinary leadership and national contribution. Field marshals advised the king or government on military matters and represented the army at the highest level. Their role was primarily strategic, guiding operations that affected the entire war effort. The rank was displayed by two crossed batons surrounded by a wreath and topped with a crown, symbolizing ultimate authority, honor, and lifelong service. This rank structure guided the British Army throughout World War II and remained the backbone of military organization until victory in 1945. Understanding these ranks shows how thousands of soldiers